It was a bitterly cold July morning when the Kelly gang rode into the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne. Events transpired that led to them being barricaded in the $2 shop in Carnegie Road, Carnegie. In the ensuing 2 days, the leader of the gang, Ned Kelly, would compose what, in time, would come to be known as the Carnegie Letter.
I wish to acquaint you with the occurrences of the present, past, and future. In or about the first week of March of this year, I was journeying into Melbourne town on an adjectival metro train carriage when I was beset upon by a posse, a herd, a murder of Lamington-hearted inspectors who singled me out and asked to see my ticket. Tempted as I was to give a name as false as the table tennis trophies in the lair of an amputee cuttlefish, I cooperated with these shaven wombat scrotum-faced inspectors, explaining the reason I travelled without a valid concession card was because of the oppression of that mob of bipolar premenstrual emus known as Centrelink. For even though I be eligible, they were yet to mail me a healthcare card. The inspectors said they wouldn't issue me with a fine on the spot, but will take my details, and if I had any queries, I can call this number. And as sure as the barbecued echidna goes untouched at Lentil as anything, I received notice in the mail after 3 weeks had elapsed. $100.70 for failing to show concession, and another $170 for having feet on seats, of which naught was mentioned at the time. This I deem an act as low as a carpet snake's blundstones in a call centre. Not long after, I fell victim to further injustices when I attempted to accompany my friend Joseph Byrne into the MCC members on a visitor's ticket. At the gateway, I was met by an old man more bent over than a rock wallaby in italics, who demanded to know whether I were wearing a shirt with collar beneath my coat. Said I that on account of my wearing a raincoat and scarf, it mattered not whether I were harbouring a collar on my person, for it wouldn't be any more visible than a black dog being char-grilled during an eclipse, acting as though he were as powerful as 10 humpback whales with the legs of kangaroos and the howl of a dingo. Entry to the adjectival members was denied me. 'Twas yet another example of the backward conservatism that contaminates this town like the washing powder in the smack Joseph Byrne purchases in Footscray town. Time and again have I withstood these wrongs. On July 13th at the Hoyt's Multiplex, my gang and I paid passage to enjoy the latest of the Twilight Saga. When we found it to have a plot as weak as an arthritic fairy penguin, we resolved to step into the adjacent theatre to watch whatever be playing there. Before we could sit our asses, we were apprehended and escorted off the premises by security more yellow than a field of jaundiced daffodils covered in cheesels. And we weren't granted so much as an explanation of what difference it were whether we watch one whole film or 2 halves of separate films. My forbearance of these travesties cannot last, for even a colony of abalone in the anus of a merino sheep are of more use than these laws which claim to govern us for our good. And so I write this letter knowing full well it's beyond the acceptable word limit of the 50-50 column. But should it fail to be printed, I'm afraid I'll be driven to do that which I don't wish to do, and take it to the AM talkback. I do not wish to give the airwaves my full force without giving timely warning, but I am a regional centre working-class woman's son, somewhat disgruntled. And my opinions must be heard.